What if Count Dooku trained Anakin Skywalker? That is our story for today, so let's dive in. The Jedi Temple on Coruscant stood as a monument of light in a galaxy at war with itself. Within the High Council chamber, however, shadows lingered. The boy, Anakin Skywalker, stood before the greatest masters of the Jedi Order, Yoda, Mace Windu, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Plo Koon, each measuring him not by his presence, but by the fear that clung to him like a shroud. He was only 9 years old. His small frame seemed dwarfed by the towering columns and the judgmental eyes peering down upon him. Obi Wan Kenobi stood at his side, head bowed but voice resolute. "Masters, I gave my word to Qui-Gon. He believed the boy was the chosen one. I ask you, no, I beg you, to let me train him." The chamber fell silent. Yoda's ears drooped. "Grave danger I sense in him. Too old he is. Fear in him I see, deep fear. Clouded his future becomes." Mace Windu. "The Jedi Code is clear. Padawans must begin training from infancy. This boy has lived as a slave, known attachment, fear, anger. These things cannot be unlearned. If we train him, we may unleash a darkness greater than any enemy we have ever faced." Obi-Wan's jaw tightened, his fists clenching at his side. "Masters, he is the most powerful Force-sensitive I've ever seen, more powerful than even Master Yoda. If we cast him aside, what then?" The council remained unmoved. Their silence was the answer. Anakin's heart pounded in his chest. He looked up at the men and women he thought were saviors, heroes. Instead, he saw cold indifference. His voice cracked when he finally spoke. "So, I'm not good enough?" Yoda's eyes lowered, but his words were final. "Train you, we will not. Return to Tatooine you must. Your place, not here it is." Obi-Wan's hand squeezed the boy's shoulder gently, but even his presence could not soften the sting. Anakin's young face hardened, his lips pressed in a thin line. That night, Obi-Wan walked with him through the temple halls. "Anakin, they're supposed to be protectors, but they just sent me away. I thought the Jedi were supposed to care." Obi-Wan had no words, only shame. And so, under the shadow of the Galactic Senate, Anakin Skywalker was escorted off Coruscant. A boy with more potential than any in millennia, cast aside by those sworn to guard peace and justice. On Tatooine, the Sands welcomed him again with their harsh embrace. Shmi Skywalker wept when she saw her son return. She had believed the Jedi would change his fate. Instead, he was still a slave, bound to Watto's chains. And in the dark currents of the Force, another listened. Another felt the wound in Anakin's heart grow. Far from Tatooine, on the noble world of Sereno, Count Dooku meditated in his private sanctum. Once a Jedi master, now disillusioned and bitter, he had turned away from the Order. His connection to the Force stretched far, and it was there he felt it. A flame, raw and untamed, burning in the sands of Tatooine. Anakin Skywalker. Dooku's lips curved in a rare smile. Dooku, to himself. "So, the Council has cast him aside. How blind they truly are. Perhaps fate delivers him to me." Days later, a sleek silver shuttle descended into Mos Espa. Dooku, cloaked and regal, strode into Watto's junk shop. The Toydarian buzzed nervously as the aristocrat's sharp gaze scanned the clutter. "Ah, welcome, welcome. You are far from the core, noble sir. What can I do for you?" "I am here for the boy, Anakin Skywalker, and his mother." Watto blinked, wings fluttering. "Both? Ha! Expensive that will be. The boy maybe, but the woman?" Dooku's hand rose slightly, the Force pressing into the Toydarian's mind. Unlike many, Watto resisted the full sway of a Jedi trick. But Dooku's approach was subtler. The weight of his presence alone cowed the creature. Dooku's voice low and commanding, "You will release them. Name your price." Watto hesitated, beads of sweat forming. He muttered a figure, obscene by Tatooine standards. Without blinking, Dooku transferred the credits, then turned with a regal wave of his hand. "You are free." Shmi gasped, covering her mouth. Anakin's eyes widened, disbelief flooding him. "Free? For real?" Dooku knelt, his sharp features softening ever so slightly. "Yes, my boy. You and your mother. No chains, no masters. I am Count Dooku of Sereno. I offer you a new life, one of freedom and of power. Come with me, and I will show you the destiny the Jedi denied you." Shmi looked hesitant, uncertain of this tall, severe man. But when Anakin turned to her, his eyes alight with hope and longing, she could not say no. They left Tatooine together. When the shuttle broke atmosphere, Anakin stood at the viewport, staring at the stars. His mother placed a hand on his shoulder. "Ani, what is it?" Anakin, quietly but with fire in his eyes. "The Jedi didn't want me, but he does. He gave me freedom. I'll never be thrown away again." Behind them, Dooku watched in silence. The beginnings of something powerful, perhaps uncontrollable, had just taken root. And in the depths of the Force, a new path unfolded. Sereno was unlike anything Anakin had ever seen. Towering castles of obsidian stone and gleaming marble overlooked forests that stretched for miles. The very air smelled different from the acrid dust of Tatooine, fresh, alive, powerful. In the grand halls of House Dooku, servants bowed as the Count passed. For the first time in his life, Anakin was not beneath anyone's heel. His mother, Shmi, was given quarters finer than she had ever dreamed of. The scars of slavery were still written on her hands, but now she moved freely, her gaze unchained. It was here, in Sereno's sprawling courtyards and private dueling chambers, that Anakin's true education began. Dooku led him into a circular hall, lit only by flickering sconces. In the center, 2 practice sabers rested. "Do you know the Jedi art of lightsaber combat, boy? Qui-Gon taught me a little, and Obi Wan trained with me once," Anakin replied. Dooku picked up a saber, activating it with a hiss. Its crimson blade cast a harsh glow on the Count's refined features. "Then you know nothing. The Jedi train for defense, for balance, but war is won by precision, elegance, supremacy, form 2, Makashi, watch and learn." The Count moved with flowing grace, each strike a deadly flourish. Where Jedi forms were broad and defensive, Makashi was narrow and cutting, designed for the art of duelists. He gestured, and Anakin ignited the second saber. The boy's movements were raw, powerful, but uncontrolled. He struck in heavy arcs, relying on brute strength. Dooku parried each blow effortlessly, his form precise and almost mocking. Power is nothing without control. Again. Hour after hour, day after day, the lessons continued. Dooku's strikes were surgical, and each time Anakin stumbled, he corrected him with cold discipline. But the boy learned quickly, frighteningly so. By the time months passed, his parries grew sharper, his ripostes faster. And then one evening, he surprised Dooku. Their blades clashed, and instead of forcing through with raw strength, Anakin twisted his wrist, sliding Dooku's blade away and countering with a Makashi thrust. The Count stepped back, lowering his saber. For the first time, pride flickered in his sharp eyes. "Excellent. You adapt, you learn. In time, you may even surpass me." Anakin's chest heaved with exertion, but his smile was undeniable. It wasn't only swordsmanship Dooku taught. In hidden chambers beneath Sereno's keep, the Count whispered forbidden truths. He taught Anakin how to cloak himself in shadow, how to mask his Force signature, how to strike unseen. He spoke of the rule of 2, of the Sith's ancient legacy, though never fully revealing Sidious. The Jedi call themselves protectors, yet they bind themselves in chains of dogma, leaving the galaxy weak. Power is the only true constant. Power must be claimed, do you understand? Anakin, the Jedi, they abandoned me, but you gave me freedom. You gave me and my mother a life. I'll never follow them again. Dooku's smile was thin, satisfied. Good. Hold to that conviction, my boy. For one day, it will make you unstoppable. At night, when the training halls were silent, Anakin returned to his mother's side. Shmi would run her fingers through his hair as she had when he was a child. You've grown so much, Ani. You're stronger every day. But promise me you won't lose who you are. I promise, Mom. Master Dooku, he believes in me, not like the Jedi. He says I can be great, and I will be, for you. Shmi's eyes glistened with worry. Dooku had freed her from slavery, yes, but she saw the cold fire in her son's eyes when he trained, the way he relished victory. Still, she stayed silent. Better this than chains. As years passed, Anakin grew not only in skill, but in reputation. To the galaxy, he was introduced as a political voice of Sereno, a young man of eloquence and striking charisma, advocating for the rights of the Outer Rim. But in the shadows, he was Dooku's blade. Wearing a mask and cloak, he infiltrated enemy camps, cut down mercenaries, and eliminated spies. No one knew the warrior's name, only whispers of a phantom who struck with the elegance of a master duelist, leaving none alive. In every duel, his Makashi grew sharper. Dooku often tested him with elite guards and mercenaries, and soon Anakin dispatched them with ease. His blade flowed like his master's, but heavier, fueled by raw strength beneath the elegance. By the time he reached manhood, Anakin Skywalker was no longer the boy cast aside by the Jedi. He was a shadow forged in secrecy, a weapon of the Sith, loyal to Dooku, anchored by his mother's presence, and destined for something far greater. And all the while, Darth Sidious remained unaware. By the time Anakin Skywalker reached his early 20s, he had become a figure of fascination across the galaxy. Sereno, with its wealth and prestige, presented him as a symbol of the separatist movement, a young man of striking charisma, eloquence, and passion. Clad in finely tailored robes, he stood in the Senate halls of Raxus, speaking before thousands of delegates. The Republic claims to represent all, yet it chokes the Outer Rim with neglect and corruption. They left my people in slavery. They abandoned worlds in need. If the Jedi and their masters will not fight for justice, then we must fight for ourselves. The chamber thundered with applause. Senators, guild representatives, and planetary leaders leaned forward, captivated. To them, he was the perfect symbol. A hero who had escaped bondage, now advocating for freedom. Behind the mask of politics, however, lay a far darker truth. When diplomacy failed, Anakin vanished from the public eye. In the dead of night, cloaked and masked, he carried out assassinations in Dooku's name. Republic envoys, traitorous separatist barons, and Jedi scouts sent to probe separatist space, all fell to his blade. In these missions, Anakin's mastery of Makashi shone. He cut through elite clone squads with elegant thrusts, each movement precise, economical. Against Jedi Knights, he was lethal. Their forms designed for defense crumbled under his combination of finesse and overwhelming strength. The galaxy whispered of a masked warrior who struck without warning, wielding a crimson blade. None suspected the young separatist speaker could be that same assassin. The Jedi, however, had not been blind. Reports of the mysterious duelist reached Coruscant. Masters debated in the council chamber, Ki Adi Mundi. A Sith, it must be. No mere mercenary could defeat Jedi with such skill. Mace Windu. Then why does he not reveal himself? This warrior hides. He protects a secret. Yoda. The truth. Elusive it is. Dangerous this foe becomes. Among them, Obi Wan Kenobi remained silent, but his mind churned. He had heard the whispers. The style described, elegant thrusts, precise counters, each duel ending in death, was not unfamiliar to him. And when word reached him that the warrior was often seen near Sereno, his heart clenched. Obi-Wan set out alone. Disguised as a trader, Obi-Wan infiltrated Sereno. By nightfall, he found his way into the shadowed training halls beneath Dooku's fortress. There, the truth awaited him. Anakin stood in the center of the chamber, mask set aside, lightsaber in hand, training against mechanical duelists. His movements were fluid, his blade precise, unmistakably Makashi. Obi-Wan stepped forward, voice breaking the silence. "Anakin." The young man froze. Slowly he turned, his expression unreadable. "So, they finally sent you." Obi-Wan's heart pounded. "The Council thought you were lost. But I see now, you were taken, twisted." Anakin's lips curled bitterly. "Taken? No. Freed. The Jedi cast me aside, Obi-Wan. Dooku gave me everything. Freedom, a life for my mother, a purpose. The Jedi talk of compassion, but they left me in chains. Tell me, Master Kenobi, where was your vaunted order when a boy begged for help?" Obi-Wan stepped closer, pleading, "Anakin, listen to yourself. Dooku has poisoned you. This is not the path Qui-Gon wanted for you. He believed you were the chosen one." At the mention of Qui-Gon, Anakin's jaw tightened, anger flashing in his eyes. "Qui-Gon was the only one who believed in me, and your council spat on his dying wish. You betrayed him. You betrayed me." Obi-Wan's hand fell to his lightsaber. "Then you leave me no choice." Anakin's blade ignited in a hiss of crimson. "No, Obi-Wan. You left me no choice years ago." Their sabers clashed, filling the chamber with fire. Obi-Wan fought with the steadfast defense of Soresu, every movement calculated to protect and subdue. Anakin pressed with Makashi's lethal precision, each thrust and riposte designed to break his old friend's guard. Obi-Wan's experience saved him at first, his defense ironclad. But Anakin was relentless, faster, sharper, his technique honed under Dooku's ruthless eye. He struck low, high, feinted, and twisted Obi-Wan's blade out of line. "You don't have to do this, Anakin." Anakin, furious, "Yes, I do. I will never be a slave again." With a sudden flourish, Anakin disarmed him, Obi-Wan's lightsaber clattering across the stone. For a moment, Anakin hesitated, chest heaving, eyes locked on the man who had once been like a brother, but the memory of rejection, of cold council chambers and broken promises surged through him. With a roar, Anakin drove his blade through Obi-Wan's chest. Obi-Wan gasped, eyes wide in shock and sorrow. His last words were barely a whisper. "I'm sorry, Anakin." Anakin pulled his blade free, watching his old master collapse. His breath came in ragged bursts. Then behind him, he heard the slow, deliberate clap of Count Dooku. "Well done, my apprentice. Your ties to the Jedi are severed. Now you are ready, wholly and completely." Anakin turned, his face shadowed, his eyes burning. The boy who once dreamed of becoming a Jedi hero was gone. What remained was Dooku's weapon, a Sith assassin, sharpened by betrayal and bound by loyalty to the only master who had given him everything. The Galactic Senate gleamed under the core world's sun. In his private office, Darth Sidious sat behind layers of encrypted communications, his mind sharp, ever calculating. He had heard whispers of a mysterious separatist figurehead, one who seemed more dangerous than Dooku had let on. Sidious mutters, "So, the Count brings a protege, another tool perhaps. I will test him, I will break him." He summoned Count Dooku to Coruscant, expecting the Count alone. Unaware, he did not consider the apprentice Dooku had secretly molded, a boy now grown into a warrior whose power rivaled even Sidious's expectations. Dooku's shuttle touched down in the industrial sector, among towering spires of metal and machinery. Sidious awaited him, cloaked in the shadows of the factory complex, the hum of Coruscant's infrastructure echoing around them. "Count, I trust your progress has been fruitful." Dooku stepped forward, flanked by Anakin. Sidious's eyes flicked to the young man. "The boy? A political figure? Here? Do you think me a fool?" Anakin's crimson blade ignited with a hiss, the hum filling the cavernous space. Sidious froze, the raw elegance and precision of Makashi radiating from the young man's stance. "I am no mere figurehead, Chancellor. I am the weapon you never saw coming." Sidious lunged first, unleashing a torrent of Force lightning. Dooku met him with elegant parries, twisting and flowing like water around each strike. Anakin advanced, his movements fluid, each Makashi thrust deflecting bolts and slashing through Sidious's defenses. Sidious's face twisted in shock. This is impossible. How? But Dooku's sly grin indicated that everything had gone exactly as planned. "The boy is not a puppet. He is a blade, ours together, unstoppable." Lightning met Makashi's steel in a symphony of sparks. Anakin moved like a shadow, every thrust precise, every counter efficient. Sidious could sense power he had never encountered before, and panic flashed across his usually impenetrable visage. The Sith Lord had trained for decades, manipulating and deceiving countless enemies. But this, a Makashi master, blending elegance with raw strength, was unforeseen. He leapt, spinning through the air to strike Dooku. Anakin was already there, sidestepping, his saber flicking in arcs to intercept the Dark Lord's energy. Each movement was a dance, Makashi precision guiding him, Dooku's presence enhancing the synergy. Sidious's confidence faltered. "The boy, the apprentice. I never sensed this." Dooku pressed forward, weaving a strike that forced Sidious to block defensively. Anakin mirrored, exploiting every opening. The industrial sector shook with the ferocity of their duel, sparks flying, machinery shuddering under the raw power of Sith and apprentice. Together, Dooku and Anakin cornered the Dark Lord. Sidious unleashed a furious storm of lightning, but Anakin's Makashi counters deflected each blast, turning the energy aside, while Dooku's precision strikes forced Sidious back. With a synchronized lunge, Dooku struck Sidious's side, while Anakin's blade pierced his chest from the front. Sidious fell to his knees, a look of shock and disbelief etched across his face. "Impossible. You both... How?" Dooku placed a hand on Anakin's shoulder. "Together, we are more than any single Sith. Today, we end the apprentice and the master." Sidious's life ebbed away, the culmination of years of plotting undone in moments of unexpected betrayal. The galaxy's most cunning Sith had been defeated by his own underestimation. At Dooku's command, the Separatist fleet descended on Coruscant. The Republic, caught off guard, scrambled to mount a defense. Star destroyers clashed with droid ships in orbit. Blaster fire lit the streets below. Senators and civilians alike fled in panic. And on the ground, in the towering spires of the industrial sector, the two Sith warriors stood side by side, victorious, the hum of their lightsabers echoing through the metal corridors. Anakin had claimed his place beside Dooku, not a servant, but a partner, a master in his own right. The galaxy would never forget this day. Coruscant burned. Smoke and fire rose from the upper levels of the city, the sounds of battle echoing through the streets and skyways. The Separatist fleet had shattered the Republic's defenses, and panic consumed the Senate. From the shadows of the shattered chambers, Dooku and Anakin advanced, the crimson hum of their blades a warning to all who dared oppose them. The surviving Jedi Masters, Yoda and Mace Windu, had raced to the Chancellor's office, hoping to protect the Chancellor and contain the threat. Their faces fell as they entered, realizing the unimaginable. The masked, separatist figurehead at Dooku's side was none other than Anakin Skywalker. Yoda said gravely, "Skywalker, lost you are." "Windu, this cannot be. What happened to you?" Anakin stepped forward, his posture cold and unyielding. "You left me behind. You abandoned me to slavery. That was your greatest mistake." Dooku, "The Jedi cannot be allowed to remain. Their time is over." Yoda ignited his lightsaber, green energy radiating. Windu's violet blade hummed with lethal intensity. Dooku faced Yoda, his own crimson saber flashing elegantly. Anakin took Windu as his opponent, Makashi flowing in every movement. The chamber erupted into motion. Sparks flew as blades clashed, energy arcing across walls and shattered floors. The battle was brutal. Yoda used the Force to throw heavy machinery at Dooku, but the Count bent and sidestepped, flowing with elegance. Anakin pressed forward against Windu, red blade dancing, striking at every opening. Windu, gritting teeth. "I'm sorry. We shouldn't have turned you away. Now you've fallen into the hands of the Sith." Anakin coldly, "Now you'll pay for your own failures. I learned long ago that the Jedi are no heroes. You're slaves. Just as I once was. Now the difference between us is I broke free while you happily wear your chains with pride. While the galaxy falls and burns because of the corrupted system you blindly protect." Despite their years of training and mastery, the Jedi began to falter. Their attacks, though precise, were unable to match the combination of Dooku's cunning and Anakin's Makashi-honed precision. With a sweeping combination of thrusts and feints, Anakin disarmed Windu. The older Jedi staggered, surprise and disbelief in his eyes. With one swift, precise strike, Anakin pierced Windu's chest. The Jedi Master crumpled to the floor, eyes wide in shock. Yoda fought desperately against Dooku, his speed and acrobatics keeping the Count at bay, but when Anakin joined, the combined assault was too much. 2 crimson blades against the Grand Master, one of the most powerful Jedi in history. Even Yoda could not withstand it. "Skywalker, what have you become?" "I am what you made me." A final coordinated strike from Dooku and Anakin brought Yoda down. The sound of the 2 greatest Jedi collapsing echoed through the chamber. The chamber was silent except for the hum of the victorious Sith blades. Coruscant's skyline burned behind them. The galaxy's most revered protectors were gone. The Republic's leadership was shattered, the Senate in chaos. Dooku turned to his apprentice, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You have done well, my apprentice. The Jedi are no more. The galaxy is ours to shape." Anakin's face was unreadable, his crimson blade still dripping with the remnants of the battle. The boy who had been cast aside, who had been betrayed by the Jedi, now stood as a masterful Sith assassin, a partner in the creation of a new order. The surviving Jedi scattered to the outer rim, hunted and exiled, leaving the galaxy vulnerable to the will of Dooku and his formidable apprentice. The smoke of Coruscant still lingered in the core world sky as Count Dooku stood in the Senate chamber. The halls were eerily silent, once filled with the voices of the Republic. Now only the hum of machinery, droid patrols, and the echo of Dooku's footsteps remained. From atop the dais, he addressed the remnants of the Senate, their faces pale with shock and fear. "The Republic as you knew it is finished. Its leadership failed, its guardians, the Jedi, are no more. From this day forward, a new order will guide the galaxy, one of strength, freedom for those denied it, and justice for the oppressed." Anakin stood beside him, his crimson blade deactivated, but the aura of power around him unmistakable. Senators stared, many whispering among themselves, unsure whether this young figure was a puppet or a threat. Do not mistake my role here as ceremonial. I am the sword of this order. Anyone who opposes the vision of freedom and strength will fall, just as the Jedi did. The chamber trembled under the weight of the declaration. Coruscant and the galaxy would never be the same. Dooku commanded fleets, reorganized planetary governments, and dissolved the remaining Republic bureaucracy. The separatist armies, once scattered and political, became a structured galactic force. Anakin led specialized strike teams, executing precision missions to quell resistance and remove lingering Jedi threats. Every mission highlighted Anakin's mastery of Makashi. He faced groups of Jedi survivors in duels where his movements were calculated, elegant, and lethal. Dooku often watched from afar, a smile playing at his lips as his apprentice executed every tactic perfectly. Meanwhile, the exiled Jedi scattered across the outer rim, wary of even whispering his name. Tales of the masked separatist figurehead, now known galaxy-wide as Dooku's right hand, spread fear among those who resisted the new order. In the quiet hours of the night, Anakin often walked the halls of Dooku's palace. Shmi, older but still healthy and free, watched him from her quarters, proud yet uneasy. "Ani, what have you become?" Anakin turned, his eyes dark but calm. "I am what they made me, Mom. The Jedi abandoned me. Dooku freed me. I protect you, I protect us, and I protect the galaxy from the weakness that let me fall." Shmi's eyes filled with tears. She could see the boy she loved, yet also the shadow of the weapon he had become. "Just don't forget who you are." Anakin nodded, though deep down he knew that the boy who had dreamed of heroism was gone. Only the Sith-trained assassin remained, loyal to the only master who had ever truly trusted him. Dooku and Anakin's reign was swift and absolute. The remaining Republic worlds fell in line, either through diplomacy or force. Senators who resisted were exiled, imprisoned, or executed. The Jedi, scattered and hunted, became whispers in the Outer Rim, legends of a fallen order. The galaxy was no longer under the illusion of a republic. It was under the careful, calculated control of Count Dooku and his apprentice, Anakin Skywalker, whose mastery of Makashi made him not just a weapon, but the enforcer of a new era. From the shadows, Dooku watched the galaxy bend to his will, and at his side, Anakin stood. No longer a boy, no longer a Jedi, no longer the chosen one of prophecy, but a living, breathing testament to the consequences of abandonment, betrayal, and the seductive promise of power. Dooku, quietly to Anakin, "Together we are unstoppable. The galaxy belongs to us." Anakin ignited his blade, crimson light reflecting in the polished floors of the Senate. He nodded, a silent promise to the Count, to his mother, and to the destiny he had forged himself. The galaxy had entered a new era, the era of the Sith, led not by a shadowed apprentice of Sidious, but by a Count and his prodigious crimson-bladed protege. And somewhere, far in the Outer Rim, the scattered Jedi whispered his name with fear: Anakin Skywalker. And that is where we'll end the story. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know in the comments what are your thoughts. If you haven't already, please feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you to everyone who has supported me so far, and I'll see you in the next video. As always, may the Force be with you.